Day 20 of the 100-day project. And that means it's 1/5 of the way done. So, what has my experience been in the last 10 days doing this project and carving out a little bit of time every day to be creative? What makes this 10 days a little bit different than the last ones is I definitely feel that it's becoming, again, more of a habit, kind of the inspiration finding me a little bit more now rather than me searching for the inspiration. The next thing is that I think I'm starting to find a style that is uniquely mine. There were a few paintings that I did this week that I really felt started to express something that's uniquely me. These 3 works in particular I'm really proud of, and I want to continue pursuing this particular technique. It started out with this painting. I've never been to Il Duomo. I thought for a second, I was like, where would I want to be right now? What it symbolizes and the way that people kind of idealize everything in Italy. It was one of the first things that popped into my head. I really lost myself in the detail work of the windows and also figuring out the angles and how to maintain dimension. So this was a really fun one. After that, this one was a bit ambitious and I found myself getting a bit frustrated in it, but I'm glad that I finished it, was this little rendering of the Taj Mahal. Again, I've never been here, but I've always wanted to go, and I love that this building is based on love and how someone loved another person so much that they designed this beautiful structure, and I just find it to be a very romantic idea. I was happy with this one. But this is the key here, this one. This is my version of the Chrysler Building, and I feel like this is something that I could draw 1,000 times and have something different come up every day because of just how much New York City changes. This obviously, this is kind of a fictionalized version of New York City because the buildings around the Chrysler Building are also still really interesting and beautiful, but I wanted to, in my imaginary world, highlight this as something very special. I think also, just like a side note as a New Yorker, I think people oftentimes think the Chrysler Building is the Empire State Building because it has this pretty Art Deco arches on top, where the Empire State Building, in my opinion, it's not as pretty as the Chrysler Building. That's a hot take. Here are some of the challenges that I've been facing up until this point. The first thing is, I am spending a lot more time on social media than I want to be, and that's just simply because I'm posting more. I find that I get a little bit swept up in figuring out, oh, what audio is trending and blah blah, like all this stuff that normally is not at all on my radar. So finding a balance between sharing and not getting necessarily swept up in the tool of social media and letting it just be another facet of the art, that's kind of tough, honestly. If anybody that is more experienced at sharing videos and things like that has any input, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear your strategy of like letting it go once you post, because that's really a challenge. Going forward, for the next 80 days, at least for the short term, I want to focus again on keeping my own individual style present. And I really would love to keep working on these buildings, these landscapes that are with fine tip pen and then kind of whimsical colors. The next is I want to be able to go to more museums. I went to the MoMA one time and it was so inspiring and definitely freeing, and I'd love to just get a little bit more of that into my routine as well. This is something that's going to probably stay a goal for the rest of my life and not limited to this 100 days, but I want to remember that growth takes time. I'm excited to continue working on my skills and hopefully just get better every day with the continued practice of making art.